Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Educated Crypto Trader. Let's jump straight into the chart. Bitcoin, BTC. This is an update from a video I released a couple of days ago. We're looking at the Wyckoff theory here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it to an hourly chart so we can have a little bit of broader scope, which is where we were on my previous video. Okay, as you can see, we have the preliminary supply here, the buying climax, the automatic rally response, the secondary test, the sign of weakness in B. Then we had our up thrust, which cuts right through all of this here. And this inside the box is where all the distribution occurs. So we got our up thrust, we came down, we came back, we retested this up thrust into this candle just here. We then dropped, which gave us our sell in D. So after our sell in D, the only other phase we've got to go is phase E. So we were looking for the last points of supply. Now, as discussed previously, I did say that's more than likely we'll come back to this candle, which is where I've drawn the red box round. Now, it went a little further than this. It obviously wasn't ready to release and let itself drop at that particular point, as there was more selling opportunities at the top here. So what it did, it gave us another test. So I'll bring this over here. Okay, so it gave us another test. Wyckoff generally gives us 1 to 2 tests. It can give you multiple tests. The trader has to be in mind of this. So let's move this last point of supply. Now we've come under the sell in D. We're going to place that just there, the last point of supply, as it's now broken structure to the downside here, here and here, and is now at this point. Will it continue to the downside, as I've stated in my last few videos, down towards the $45,000? I think it may well do. Let's just take this up to a 2 hour, which makes it a little bit more legible and we can see it a little bit more clearly. I'm just going to shrink the chart up just a little bit to see where we are. Now, my initial target, selling this to the downside, would be down here. Okay, I've got 2 targets. I've got one here and one down here as it starts to come down and complete its cycle on its 5 wave down. So I'm just going to pop a marker on here, a box there. I'm going to pop that in green, which is where it could have some reaction from, although I still believe it will fall past this and continue bearish. I'm going to pop another one down here, which is at its lowest low before it started to move upwards. So we've got these 2 levels, which is where you could possibly, if you were selling, to start taking some profits off. Now, as stated, I still believe that this is coming down. So we'll just move the chart together a wee bit to around about the $45,000 mark. Okay, we're just going to go into this very briefly. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leg down to the furthest left. We have a 1, 2, 3. Then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is our first part of our major waves down. We then have an NE3, again as discussed in my other videos. If you haven't seen them, please go back and view them. It'll give you great insight as to what's happening with BTC. Now, moving to a bigger time frame, and I'm just going to come up to an 8 hour. If you recall, or if you go back and watch my previous videos, we have, let's see if we can mark this up. We have 1, 2, 3 waves to the downside. Okay, I'm going to pop them in red. Then we have 3 waves to the upside. Okay, now if you recall, this passes the start of wave A. So this here is wave A to the downside. This here now is wave B to the upside. And this all forms part of an expanded flat. So what we require now is 5 waves to the downside. I know this is getting a little complicated up here and you can't really see it, but we can have a good measure from the information I've got on here, because I want to leave that there and expand it back at the end of the video. Right, so moving on then to our 5 wave down. We have 1, 2, I believe 3 will come in the form down here towards the $40,000 mark. We will then have a pullback into this area here, okay, and then we shall drop further. Okay, which is possibly down to the $38,000 mark. I might be a little deep with this, just bear with me one moment. Wave 3 generally extends 1.618 of the impulse of this leg down, which will probably come down to around about this area, like I say, $45,000, which again is at this base. Something else to look out for. Okay, so be very, very mindful of that fact. We've got a long way to go, but it could happen quite quickly. So again, just keep your head in the charts and just watch it as it starts to fall. I hope you've got some valuable information and this is becoming great content for you. If it has, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up, it helps with the algorithm, definitely. And give me a comment, let me know your thoughts, let me know what you think. Do you have an altcoin that you'd like for me to review? Leave a comment and I'll see what I can do for you. Until next time, bye for now.